This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Season's greetings. I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. The nation's leader, Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, expected to lead a delegation of government officials to Grand Bahama tomorrow for the historic signing of a contract and groundbreaking ceremony for the highly anticipated reconstruction of the Fishing Hole Road. Tonight's ZNS News reflects on the decades of massive flooding at the Fishing Hole Road and the significance of this historic moment in Grand Bahama's development. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
The images are harrowing, life or death moments forever etched in the minds of many.
Now I'm seeing it firsthand, and it's already put a few antennas up, and I'm going to go immediately to my colleagues in cabinet and all the other ministers to really express the concerns that I have for Grand Bahama and begin to move quickly with talks with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the Hutchison-Wapor group of companies, to ensure that we are better equipped.
After years of just talk, assessments, and countless analysis, the government, in a matter of hours in groundbreaking fashion, will move to sign a contract for the construction of a multi-million-dollar bridge at the Fishing Hole Road. It is being described as the most significant attempt to date by any government to stem the tide of an age-old issue, massive flooding at the Fishing Hole Road.
It's good news for the ears, good news for the heart, good news for the soul, good news for 8 Mile. When you would hear of the floods that took place in this area, some 19 feet of water passing over the Fishing Hole, that's disturbing. When things like this happen, there's no way for EMT personnel or emergency personnel to get from Freeport to 8 Mile Rock, or anyone who is experiencing sickness or illnesses from 8 Mile Rock to get to Freeport to get health care or whatever emergency services they would need. So in a case like that, you're stuck. And this bridge will now provide a means even through a storm.
Many recall the most tragic moment when a male resident of Freeport lost his life.
The unfortunate loss of life and people who have suffered because of that. You would hear it on the radio. You're calling us ZNS, well, come on, and they'll tell you, if you live in 8 Mile Rock, you better get home now because the road is beginning to flood. The Fishing Hole Road is going to close. And so even we wouldn't have to have that kind of emergency any longer.
Caleb Ouden, as a young man, him and his organization Pump, Caleb was to the point where he got arrested because he wanted to see something done. He wanted some relief for the persons, especially during the time of a hurricane. We were stuck in 8 Mile Rock, in West End, in Holmesrock, but as of Friday, that will be no more.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, responding to a ruling in a matter involving Canadian businessman Bruno Rufa. It is understood that Rufa was the subject of a judicial review, and the court determined that he was deported without going through the right procedures. Rufa was arrested in February of this year for allegedly working without a valid work permit and was asked to leave the country and told that he could return in time for trial. In Parliament today, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, Minister Mitchell says the basic premise must be upheld that the Department of Immigration has, in the first instance, an unfettered right to determine who is landed and is excluded from the Bahamas subject to law. Immigration officers taking 6 Haitian nationals into custody in the 8 Mile Rock area on Wednesday afternoon. Drug Enforcement Unit officers were called to the area where DEU officers had detained the Haitian nationals suspected of being in the Bahamas illegally. Following an investigation, immigration officers determined that 2 of the migrants had entered the country legally and 1 had overstayed her time. The others had entered the country illegally. The migrants claimed that they were waiting to be smuggled to the United States and further alleged that they had paid an unknown person for a trip to Florida, but the person did not deliver. They were taken into custody and transported to immigration headquarters where they were processed. They were flown to New Providence today to await repatriation. Stay with us, there's more news after this.